Welcome! Today I'm going to read you another episode from my dream journal. However, this time it is not an astral projection. The intention was not exactly to enter the astral realm and have an out-of-body experience. The purpose was to achieve a meditative state, classically called thinking of nothing, or emptiness of the mind. The purpose of this was because I was motivated and inspired by a book I was reading at the time, a book by Osho entitled Seeds of Wisdom. One of the previous videos I talked about the technique I practice to achieve astral projection. Go look for this video if you are interested. This same technique, in this case, served me as a form of meditation. Naturally, an astral projection implies that one has to reach also a meditative state, but this experience was categorically different from the usual, despite being the same technique that I always use when trying an astral projection. This meditative state was not a source of insights, nor particularly useful as a source of adventures, like wandering through the otherness of existence. No, I didn't have access to any Akashic records, or did I levitate or had premonitions. I didn't have any of that. This time it was just a state of deep self-reflection and clarity, as there seemed to be a fine separation between my thoughts and their observer, which was me, the real me, or at least more real than the junction of these two parts, the thoughts plus the observer. I felt real and felt a sense of weightlessness in terms of existential angst. This happened to me many years ago, and this is the story. I had gone to the psychology faculty building to use the Wi-Fi and connect to the web to download some books on mysticism. There was a book that caught my attention. Its title, Seeds of Wisdom. I read a little and thought it was on the same level as the Tao Te Ching for its depth and freedom of interpretation. I liked that very much. I spent the whole afternoon at the faculty building and felt fascinated by Osho's texts, which were small, brief, but profound. Full of motivation to meditate, I then rapidly returned to the student residence, to my room, and stated that if my roommate is not home, I will do a serious meditation session. Just sitting cross-legged, trying to think of nothing. Something that had never particularly led me to any significant mental effects, but which I was now determined to achieve. For I felt capable and inspired. I sat in Padmasana with my legs crossed with a pillow underneath on top of the bed. This time I didn't sit down to meditate, trying just not to think about anything, as I had done in many other unsuccessful attempts. This time, because I felt motivated, excited, looking forward for something deep, even inspired, I used the muscles of intention that I feel available also in certain phases of astral projection. At this moment, I felt available the certain capacity for a tremendous mental effort. I closed my eyes and did the breathing I do when astral projecting. Breathing in quickly and breathing out slowly, and only dilating my belly, rolling my eyes upwards with each exhalation, chanting mentally, Om. I focused on the third eye chakra, and every time I did, I visualized the point in the middle of the forehead becoming sharper, coined by my mental effort. I think that as I was in a day-to-day waking state, and not in a state of sleepiness at bedtime, I managed to keep this exercise continuous without going into a blackout and without letting myself be carried away by the hypnagogic state that was also present. The focus was tremendous, perhaps because of the mental programming imposed by my reading of Osho's book. Perhaps it is even necessary before practicing a meditation to be really looking forward for a profound experience. A previous preparation must be made. Now, with this breathing pattern and constant focus, I stopped feeling my body. I only felt the third eye, which was so active that it seemed to pierce my forehead. By now, 5 minutes must have passed. When my eyes started to tremble and move by themselves, the sensation of the puncture in my forehead became a tunnel in my vision. In the darkness of closed eyes, a whirling tunnel that caused me a certain amount of vertigo. I still persisted, equally in the breathing and intense focus. I feel myself stretching as if I were inside this tunnel that would lead to the pinhole in my forehead. This tunnel does not seem to me to be the same kind of tunnel that people who have had near-death experiences say to have happened. The tunnel did not have a white light at the end. The perception I had was that the tunnel was more like a rainbow and it didn't seem to have an end at all. Here I forgot about the flickering eyes, which must have continued to be in a REM mode similar to certain stages of regular sleep. The thoughts were all separated from me. I understood this because I observed them in the tunnel they were part of, but I didn't identify with them. For the first time I realized that I am not my thoughts, as if there were another being in me, in the everyday I. I felt liberation in the sense of being released from the chains of thoughts. I was very excited and happy that this was happening. I imagine it to be equal to that extreme happiness of being freed from an unjust prison. But when I returned to perceive my regular self, I felt my heart racing. Unfortunately, this worried me and I broke the tunnel vision that connected to my forehead, which was a kind of hyperdimensional Ouroboros. A strange connection from me to myself. I still felt my eyes trembling, my lower abdomen seething with heat, my heart beating a lot, and I felt sweaty. I come to my regular self, I move my body, still in Padmasana, open my eyes and exclaim, "Wow!" An overwhelming euphoric happiness of conquest occupied me all day. Just wow! This was an account of my meditation experience using the technique described in one of my past videos. Originally it was a technique to achieve astral projection, but under the right conditions it can be used in pure classical meditation too. What are the right conditions, one might ask? Well, I believe it's like the set and setting in preparation for an entheogenic experience. It is convenient to have a previous preparation, a suggestion prior to the practice to induce an excellent state of motivation. The motivation has to be excellent to optimize the level of intent in the focus. The focus has to be extreme because if I go with the intention of practicing meditation just because it's on the planned schedule, then the most certain thing is that I won't reach a particularly deep state. The motivation, a strong intention, is everything. I don't say desire because I consider desire to be a passive and envious state. Unlike motivation, which can also be a desire, but unlike the other, this is an active state. Here, the muscles of mental focus are indeed available. So, get motivated. That's all there is to it. You get motivated and you have the muscles of focus and intention available. Hope this video was interesting. Subscribe, like and share this video. See you next time. Be well.